Well, we're doing our usual Saturday stream. It's not as rehearsed as I would preferred. There are some things that have happened that are out of my control. We got the clown crew over here currently. But I decided that I wanted to talk about something that really upset me. Um, and just for the life of me, I don't quite understand. I think it's really weird, just as far as like why would someone even believe this? So yesterday night I was having a conversation with my best friend. This is someone who I highly respect. I believe for the most part is smart, or at least just a decent person to interact with. um and we got around to a conversation that we've had a few times before, but not really as in depth. So he has this position where he believes that it doesn't he shouldn't have to care about who actors are if he likes a movie. um and then he tried to say that he treats he doesn't kiss the backside of actors, which he never explains or defines what that means, kissing an actor's behind. And says that he treats them like regular joes, and um was trying to make it sound as if he didn't there was nothing wrong with not knowing who these people were that were in multiple movies that he liked. And this really pissed me off. I didn't, curse him out or anything, but I told him to his face that this was stupid. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you purposely go out of your way to not know who someone is that's been in or involved with multiple things that you like? I don't understand it. I think that's very insane. Um, and listen, I'm a person who puts up with a lot of stuff as far as different opinions, right? Um, I don't like that he drinks, but I never confront him about it because it's nothing to do with me. Um, you know, I can tolerate, I think, most differing views, to not certainly to to the extent of which I won't feel like, oh, I'm not going to speak to this person, I'm going to try and confront them about it and get angry or whatever. Because most of it I don't really see as anything other than just a difference of opinion. But I guess what's most disturbing to me about this position is, one, because of how hypocritical it is. um but also because it's so antithetical to the type of behavior I like to foster. Because I've said before, I'm a person who believes in giving people credit when they do things that are good or right. And I don't understand how you have an actor who, gives you seemingly good performances over and over again, and then you just never discover or figure out who that person was. In particular, we were talking about how, he saw Spider-Man Homecoming and he didn't recognize Michael Keaton, even though he had seen him, everybody knows what that is, just as far as like people are aware of who he is, which is why people got excited to see him play Flash again. And I explained to him, he played, because he was like, I don't know who that is. Like, that's Batman. And then he goes on WikiPiss, right, and looks up, like, I guess types in Batman '89 or types in Keaton's, and it's whatever way he did it. And he's like, "Oh, I thought that's the old Batman. I thought you were talking about the new one." I was like, "What? The Dark Knight trilogy with Bale?" Which, again, if he actually cared about learning which actor was which, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. So I before I get further into this, I'm going to see if I can go and read the stuff that Akatsuki Merchant is typing. But this really pissed me off. Hello, he's basically telling you that he doesn't appreciate or respect the work that goes behind the things that he likes. You have to listen to people when they tell you who they are. Well, the other thing is that I think his argumentation was very poor. And I wrote this down. So what I did is this thing, I don't want to call it entrapment, but I asked him if he knew who certain sing. So what I did was I kind of went down the list. I was like, hey, so do you listen to Tupac? And he said no. Um, do you listen to Jay-Z? He said no. Do you listen to Dr. Dre? He said no. I asked him, do you listen to Rihanna? He said no. And I asked him, finally, do you listen to Beyonce? And he said no. And after he kept saying no, I said to him, you are a hypocrite, because you don't care to know the actors in movies you like, but then you know the rappers and singers who make songs you don't like. Think about that. He won't try to learn who the actors and things he likes are, but then he'll know all these different artists that he's not even a fan of. He doesn't even listen to the works of. And then he had the nerve to say that when movies say who people are right at the end, people walk out. They don't care. Ending credits, they're put there because nobody wants to read them. But I said to him, there's a whole bunch of movies with opening credits. I was like, Batman 89, for example, if you see that movie, at the start of it, they have Keaton, they have Jack Nicholson, they start mentioning the various actors involved with that. Not infamously, but just very memorable scene, the Spider-Man trilogy from the early 2000s. If you remember, Kotsky Merchant has an opening, um, credit scene, right, where you hear the Danny Elfman theme, and then you get the different actors' names with the webs to come up. So, and then the other thing he tried to say was that only Star Wars has opening credits. And I said to him no, and I started listing different movies that have them. And then that's when he said, "Well, I don't watch many movies." I was like, "Well, I do." Especially in the last 2 years, my movie viewing has increased like tenfold. Like I've been going out and watching stuff. You know, a movie could have only one actor I'm really interested in. I'll go and check it out just for them. Just like I was watching this movie, it was called Miles Ahead, and it was about I think it was Sammy Davis, the singer, and it was starring Don Cheadle. And I watched that just because I think Cheadle's a really good actor who has been in this thankless MCU role for 10 plus years. So to see him, star and direct someone's like that's very rare. Mm. Yeah, his priorities are out of whack. And let me explain something to you. I don't like fans of some fans of actors. I don't really like because they're very obsessive. All they do is post about the person. But you know what? They have my respect more than him on this issue because they actually acknowledge the person that they claim to like, right? Um, and they actually remember the people that they are making these accounts about. Like, for example, I would not call myself a fan of what's a good example? What's a good example of, let's say, Meryl Streep, right? Everybody says she's such a great actress. I've only seen her in a few things, and even then, it's barely anything. But people who actually like her, when you go on and look on Instagram, for example, they post about her. They talk about different movies she was in. Like let me tell you something. The main group of people that don't get paid attention to that are actually like worth knowing about are like politicians, right? And even then, it's like at least know your senator and your governor is, just stuff like that. But I would say a lot of people, even if they're not as familiar with actors that, let's say, that weren't in stuff in their lifetime, they're still familiar with enough. Like, I guess what I'm trying to get you to understand is there are people I like infamously less, like infinitely less than him, and they are more like are making more sense on this than he does because they know who certain actors are. They'll watch stuff to see them. Um, I mean, you get what I'm saying? That like I don't know anyone else who so fundamentally rejects the idea of trying to know who someone is that is in things you like. I've never like literally out of every other adult I know, um, even if they don't like the same actors I do, they still know who some are. They still go and watch certain stuff because people they like are in it. Like it's only him. He's the only person I've seen adamantly reject the idea of learning who these people are that are in stuff that he likes. Well, look, he was trying to say that fans kiss the actors' behinds and he treats them like regular people by not knowing who they are. And this is a really ridiculous, stupid thing and I told him to his face that well, not, but like when I was talking to him, that this is really insane because he wouldn't even define what he means by fans kissing the backside of actors. So like I asked him if you ask somebody for an autograph, are you somehow kissing their backside? And then he said that they weren't. So it's like he can't even define what he means by that. And why the hell is it wrong to give high praise to someone that you think did a good job? Like I don't understand. to respond to Akatsuki Merchants because I didn't see it, and they actually appreciate the work they put into their favorite media. Yes, and I told him that his viewpoint is very dangerous because when you refuse to acknowledge people that do good things, especially in the world of entertainment, that can sink their entire career. Like just to give you an example of people getting acknowledgement for their stuff. If Marvel Studios didn't look at Sam Raimi and say, you did a really good job with the Spider-Man trilogy, and you were like this trailblazer in horror with your Evil Dead, series, he wouldn't be directing Doctor Strange 2. They didn't just for this big, huge, important Marvel movie, they didn't just go get some random director down the street or go to, some website and just pull some guy out of a hat. They got an accomplished, influential filmmaker who was a trailblazer before they even got their stuff off the ground to go and to come and help them with their universe. It's an illogical argument because people idealize normal people too. Well, yes, that's what is insane to me. If someone's going to get idolized, I feel like they should do something that actually is very special and unique. Um, like if I say, "Oh, I really like this actress," it's very different from me saying, "Oh my God, there's this random woman online that's never done anything, and I'm going to sit here and defend her no matter what." No, it's like this person's actually been involved with stuff that I thought was impressive. They actually have something that more to them than just the way they look. But again, I was so disgusted by this stuff, and I couldn't give him any type of leeway as far as, oh, this is just a different, because they always try to say this is just a my opinion. This is just Envoy, don't get banned. I'm not in a good mood. I don't talk about how I like your avatar. I like the way you type. So let's not get into irrelevant stuff, please. This isn't a fashion show. You already pissed me off because you didn't come to my last three streams because you want to watch Morbius on repeat. So I already know in like 10 minutes you're gonna go leave the stream so you can go and hang out with that vampire again. So it's bad enough you came here and tried to derail the topic, but you also came here to promote that movie. And I know you love Jared Leto. I know when you see him, you want to get dressed in your tux and your stilettos, but you can't come here promoting this stuff out of nowhere. So I really hope Sony get. Oh, Akatsuki Merchant. The other thing he said was that he's only interested in films for the story, and I just kept like, because the reason I brought up the different singers and rappers was to trap him because I knew that there's a whole bunch of them that he doesn't listen to, that he knows about, that he at least is aware of because he keeps hearing the name. I knew it. He knows all of them. And when I say all, I'm not saying literally all of them, but like the big ones. And that made him a hypocrite because here he is refusing to know who actors are, including the ones that star in multiple things he likes. But I already wrote it down. I already explained why it was hypocritical. He doesn't care to know the actors in movies he likes, but he knows the rappers and singers who make songs he doesn't like. No, I really like the part about the different artists. I trapped him because I kept saying, "Hey, this person?" He was like, "Yeah, but I don't listen to them." That person? "Yeah, but I don't listen to them." He was caught. By the way, I saw Envoy's account. If you go to his liked videos, it's all Morbius. It's the Morbius final trailer. It's Jared Leto's Morbius interview. It's Jared Harris's Morbius interview. So I'm really tired of that vampire. He just needs to go away. But even with someone like Envoy, who's really disgusted me with his behavior these last 2 weeks, and even someone like this, when he sees an actor he likes, he promotes them. Envoy's been following Jared Leto ever since he played that gangbanger weird version of Joker in Suicide Squad. He's been on the Leto cruise ever since then. Seriously, him saying the stuff he did last night didn't make any sense to me, and I had no problem telling him that it was stupid while I was speaking to him. So there's nothing I'm saying here that I didn't say to him last night. Dude, that Joker was terrible. You know what I said this before, but what's really sad to me is that you had all these different movies with Joker in them, right? You had Batman '89, you had Dark Knight, and none of these Jokers, for as good as they are, ever got to come back. And the first one that we get to see in more than one movie is this weird gangbanger version. The only version that got to appear more than once, the first one anyway, was this weird gangbanger, gold teeth. It was weird. Also, if you can hear that, I apologize. Very, very loud. I'm really sorry, guys. I did this one stream where I had this person with the like making some kind of beeping noise somewhere. And so it was like, "There's a beeping." And it was like, "There's nothing I can do about it." I mean, I guess I can go outside and tell the kid to shut up, but it's not going to change anything. Um, you bring up something interesting with regarding to the worship of other people online. You see it on Twitch too with Twitch women, but he didn't explain what he meant by worshiping. Like, for example, if I go and watch a movie because an actor is in it and I want to see how, if they're talented or not, they don't know I'm watching it because they're there. If I watch it, I don't message them. Like, how are they being worshipped? How is my mere curiosity at other stuff that they're in worshiping them? How is me knowing who someone is that did things I like worshiping them? I mean, like, I don't get it. And this is why I said the stuff he was saying didn't make any sense because he couldn't even explain it. I didn't interrupt him. I didn't cut him off. I asked him to articulate, what do you mean by kissing an actor's, he can't stop using profanity. And he couldn't explain it. Because we all know the best positions are the ones you can't articulate, right? Those are the ones that have the most merit to them. But seriously, even people I don't like don't believe what he does. I have people I know in real life. I don't speak to. I don't enjoy talking to them. Let me tell you something. If they see a Tyler Perry movie, they're gonna go and check it out. If they see Wesley Snipes in something, they're gonna go and check it out. Like I'm very serious when I say I think that even if you could say most people don't like actively try to look up an actor and like see other stuff they're in, I also believe that most people are not so antagonistic to the idea that they refuse to know who someone is. Like if they keep seeing someone and stuff, they're gonna start to pick up on, hey, that's that same person. He's literally the only person I have met in real life, and I still haven't even seen anyone online that's done this, unless it's some weird person writing stuff on a computer. But they always write weird stuff on here. Only person I've been in real life who was antagonistic to the idea of learning who an actor is because you like the multiple things that they've done. Only one. He is sitting by himself on an island. I had a girl unironically tell me that having high respect for my mother made me an I word. That's actually hilarious because you had the what was it, Lady Lack and Logic tried to tell me that by not wanting to speak to her anymore and saying like something about my relationship with my mother, I supposedly like my bad relationship with her, which she doesn't even know anything about, it just assumes things, is making it to where me and her can't have a good. It was her trying to like say that having a bad relationship makes you this, but then also having a good one makes you that. So I asked her what I word meant, and she gave three different answers, all of them contradictory. I did the video. I don't know if you saw Akatsuki Merchant, about what if I was a parent and I have a specific section about the I word, and I was talking about how it's so ironic to have people online say that you only want to be with a woman for intercourse, and then you're sitting here like laying out this years long, you know, thing you want to do with one of them that for the most part doesn't even require that. So like they're trying to accuse you of just of wanting like a one night stand, but then you're articulating your desire for this long lasting, intimate, relationship. And it's like it's so antithetical to what they're accusing you of. And they don't it goes back to my thing of how they have to lump every guy into a box because they don't want to accept the idea that, people can't all be fit into one, one glove. Megumi says, "Hey, good video you released. It crossed my mind how you'd be as a parent since always something it's just something you've always wanted. It was cool to hear you articulate your reasons on it." Yeah, well, like I said, a lot of people that I see doing it, I'm not really impressed with, and because they don't actually want to do it. They just have kids by accident. So I really was disgusted by it. I'm telling you, every Saturday I have the same person crash my streams. Every single Saturday, they just come in. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to. It doesn't matter. Just that's why I had the computer on the mute mic thing just instantly because I knew they were coming. I like every single Saturday. The one thing I like about streaming on Monday is they're not here, so I don't have to worry about them crashing it. It's just annoying. Like I stream for maybe an hour, 2 hours. You're here basically all day. Why do you have to come in when I'm streaming? Whatever. I guess that's just my pet peeve. I told that I told her that she couldn't attack me for only seeing women as sex objects, but then also mock me for my perceived lack of a sex life. Yeah, they don't really they don't they want to have their cake and eat it too. It's so I'm gonna make fun of you for viewing chicks as sex objects, but I'm also going to try and shame you for not having intercourse with enough of them. Like stupid. Um, Envoy says you got to understand some folks aren't playing with a full deck of cards. That guy just didn't mesh with you mentally. It's just crazy how you can have a kid by accident. It boggles my mind. It's not like failing an exam that you can retake. This is a whole other person. And then Envoy writes, on a side note, I can't wait for Morbius 2 to come out in 2024 at the very least. Look, that vampire is not getting a sequel. I don't care what you say. I don't think any of those solo movies are getting a sequel besides Venom 3, which we still don't know anything about as far as when it's actually coming out. We just know it's in development. That could be another 4 years. Yeah, he really pissed me off because I just like giving people credit when they do things I like. Like my brother really got into Jim Carrey because of the Sonic movies, but I've been into him for a long time with Mask and Batman Forever. So I'm never against seeing other stuff that he was in. What was it, Dumb and Dumber? Like I just I don't understand his position at all. It's just weird to me. And again, I put up with a lot of different opinions, but that one I had to tell him to his face, this doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. Um, it's like it's very bizarre. Like I couldn't there again a lot of stuff I won't even say anything about because like, oh, it doesn't affect me. But that to me, that was just so stupid. And I said it straight to him. I still can't get over that story I heard about when after Christopher Reeve broke his back and he was in the hospital. It was 95. Robin Williams specifically, he named him as the person that came to cheer him up, right, and make him feel better. And then what was it like 10 years after Reeve died? Williams ended up killing himself. It's just so sad. Like just in hindsight to think about that, the person that cheered somebody up took their own life because how depressed they were. I don't know, just that whole like trajectory is really depressing. But Megumi, it's so asinine as it also affects the parent's life. Even if you were having fun, having a kid can be a burden if you're not prepared. So why do it accidentally? Because they don't think. I told you there's a lot of people who, after a few dates or after a few times of banging, they don't even wear condoms anymore. You know, they like they're just completely ambivalent to like to explain to you how stupid people are. They will actually risk creating another life if it means having more pleasure, during that. So I just, they don't care. That's all it boils down to. They just don't care. They would rather not wear a condom and risk having a life they have to take care of for 18 years than just putting on some rubber or not, I don't know, pursuing this. Because like I said, man, no, people are not forced to have kids. Like, I'm sorry, you're so damn horny that you can't stop screwing someone every day. But some of us we don't have to worry about that. Whatever, man. It's just a sad cycle. And I'm glad I'm not a part of it. It's really messed up. They don't care as long as they're having fun in the moment. Yeah. And that fun is going to come back to bite them in the backside for the next almost 2 decades. So have fun. Have fun with that. So for as long as I can remember, people have been doing and saying things don't make any sense to me. I was really disgusted with him like not knowing Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's in a whole bunch of stuff. Batman 89, Returns, Beetlejuice, Birdman. Like I don't Homecoming. Hell, Envoy really started liking Keaton after he appeared in his favorite movie of all time, more BS. So I don't understand. I like even if you just look at superhero genre stuff, he's still in like multiple different series. It's just so weird to me. Like I was really trying to figure out like what sense does it make to, and I guess what I don't know, it just pisses me off because he knew, and this goes back to what I said earlier. He knew who all these different rappers and singers were that he doesn't even listen to, right? Because they get mentioned around it. He tried to say, well, I'm with people that don't really talk about actors. I'm like, well, that you being around people that don't discuss actors does not stop you from knowing who someone is. Like no one around me just talks about the news every day, and that doesn't stop me from independently looking it up. People love to live in the moment and spend their lives running away from the consequences of said moment. Oh yeah, there was a chick I was in the Discord server with that tried to say that it was easy for like her response was say it was easy for me not to get pregnant. Some kind of stupid crap. I just ignored her. But there are a lot of people who think that, if you're a woman, you have to have intercourse and unprotected screwing with people, you know, even though you don't unless you're molested, but whatever. Again, I'll let them believe whatever they want to help them sleep better at night. I just I know the truth. So it doesn't bother me if they want to sit there and tell themselves a lie. Because running away from your mistakes is easier than owning them. Owning them would mean humbling yourself, and people just have too big an ego for that. Yeah. They love removing agency and accountability. But they act like they just wake up one day and they have to, and their stomach is just implanted with this seed from the highest order. Like it's so weird. That's what really pisses me off. They don't take any account. You know what gets me? Like the same people who will crap on me for anything that happens to me, right? When it's a chick, oh, she probably had a hard life. She probably had, trauma. You remember that dumb crap? It's like, you don't tell me you care about me and you defend stuff like that while critiquing me over things that I actually can't control. I can't make somebody hire me, but I damn sure can make sure I don't have a kid. I know that because people who don't want kids are very good at like not having that happen. They always have condoms. They always, if it's a chick, she's always on birth control. You know, Like I've seen people in real life, they have foresight. If they don't want it, they don't get it because they do everything they can to avoid it, and it works. Lack of foresight. It's weird how this behavior is encouraged and justified by others as well. Yeah, well, like I said, people they get angry for like when they first hear that you're having this kid, and then by like the first month or second month, they're over it. They're like, whatever, just another day in the hood. You'll be surprised how quickly people will go from like so disgusted and how could you do this to whatever. Oh, look at how cute the baby is. You know, every baby is cute. It's like this that doesn't erase the stupid thing they did. Whatever. Hate these bastards so much. A lot of stupid people get a lot of just justifications for their ridiculousness. I really do want to make a top 100 favorite actors of all time list. Like, because there's so many of them, just like to sit there and be like, all right, I like this one and that one. I don't know. I just think there's certain people that you should be aware of, even if you don't look at a certain medium. Like, I'm not even a person that has ever just sat down and enjoyed basketball. But you know who Michael Jordan is, you know who Kobe is, you know who Dwayne is. I mean, like you don't. I just think there's a certain point where fame transcends a particular medium, and people just know who someone is. Dude, I remember this one person that was like 90 something percent of all sexual misconduct allegations are true. It's like so because that 90 something percent is true according to this poll, you're going to use that as an excuse to just believe this woman without launching an investigation. Like just this person said this, and most people that say this 90% of the time are correct. Like, okay, so how do we know she's correct if we don't fact check or investigate? I don't. You're going to use this statistic to get away with being lazy and believe in somebody because of their gender. If you justify having a baby and bring it into the world because it's cute, it should probably get your rights as a parent removed. No, I don't understand. I really don't get it. You're like, I don't keep up with actors. Like, you don't keep up with these singers or rappers either, and you still know who they are. God, man, that was one of the worst positions I've seen anybody take on any issue. Like, again, a lot of stuff that I don't agree with, I just leave it be. But that position doesn't make any sense to me. It makes him look insane. And even people I don't like still give respect to those that star in stuff that they enjoy. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in the horror community and you have people talking about Wes Craven, because they remember him for Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, it's just so sad, and it's like he thinks this makes sense. He thinks that if you make something and let's say it becomes a hit, whether you're an actor and you're like starring in a movie or you're the one who wrote something, people shouldn't know who you are. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, what? And again, I have no doubt in my mind that if he wrote something and a bunch of people bought it, he'd want them to know who he is. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't put his name on the damn cover sheet. He would just publish it anonymously. Because you have some writers that do that, where they don't want to be known for writing or making something, so they put like a fake name on there. But he would want the attention. So many people need to have their rights as parents removed for sure. The parents are responsible for bringing up a child into really bad circumstances. Yeah, they act like the kid just drops on their door. I wish these pricks would leave, man. Like they've been here all day ever since last night. Just like go away. Just annoying. Um, it's just weird. It's like I don't understand. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised because everyone around me seems to do some at least one thing that I think is weird. But I really can't. It bothers me so much because like so much of what I do is about remembrance. Like, hey, this person did this person did that. Um, and again, I don't know anyone else in real life that's like this. Like my grandma would watch this weatherman, and she would ask me, "Who is that person? Are they doing anything else?" She wanted to know who that was because she was so entertained by him. Like I've never seen anyone else besides him that has this like antagonistic desire with I guess the creation of media, as far as like knowing who people are that are involved with stuff that you like. I could see if it was someone that made something that you don't like, like wrote a book you thought was crap. Okay, whatever. But like I don't get him. I really don't. And I felt very proud to stand tall and say, this doesn't make any sense. Like I said, if you have a position and you feel that confident in your belief system and you can articulate it, it's very easy to just look at a lot of this stuff and call it out for what it is. BS. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. I am. Did you enjoy your nap? I just love hearing that thing. It's annoying, huh? These people just can't go away. I'm, forever. It's been doing that for like 10 minutes.
What?
Yeah. There was this other guy from last year I remember distinctively. I mentioned that he didn't know who Harrison Ford was, and I was like, I'm sorry, but out of any actor from Star Wars besides Christopher Lee, that's probably the go-to one to know. Like Indiana Jones, Blade Runner. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? You don't know who that is of all the actors tonight. And it's like he knew who Mark Hamill was. So he's not someone like, my friend is where he just chooses to be ignorant. So like that, I was shocked. I was like, of all the actors you're not familiar with, you don't know that one? One of the biggest actors of the last 40 years? You aren't old enough to have a child, but these two young teenagers are old enough to bring a life into the world. I'm still laughing at that broad saying you're too young. Because I'm telling you, when she said that, I brought up the hypocrisy. I was like, don't tell me about age when somebody's trying to get married, but then you're going to sit here and say that while people are having kids when they're underage. Because, like I said, marriage, it's supposed to be a lifetime commitment, but it is so much easier to get married to someone and walk away from that than to have a kid with someone. If you get married to someone, you can have to sign a prenup so they don't get anything that you own. If you get married to someone, you can get an annulment, so you can just retcon the marriage of ever happening. There are a million ways to walk away from that unscathed. With a kid, you can't. There's no prenup for that. You can't dictate if this person's going to put you on child support or not. Like I said, it's usually chicks that do that to men when they're trying to get back at them and use the kid as revenge. That's their favorite tactic. It's like, oh, this is my spurned lover. I'm gonna get him. But she would still be a hypocrite in the case because, like, what age are you allowed to do this stuff at? If you're an adult and you can afford things, you should be able to do whatever you want as long as it's legal. 19 is too young to get. Who the hell are you to dictate that for me? Like, piss off. Seriously, man, I don't like these people with their too young crap because it's never consistent with reality. Like you can't have kids who are having children at the same time as you're telling an adult, oh, they can't have a child or get married. That doesn't make any sense. This is why I'm not getting into a relationship with anyone. Yeah, too many headaches and too many lies. By the way, let me say about this one crazy chick I met 2 weeks ago. I'm in a Discord server. This woman is 28 years old. And I don't usually bring up age because it's irrelevant. This just is a grown adult woman. Every day you go in this server. Actually, no, let me give you an example. First conversation I have with her is decent, whatever. And she's trying to get people to, like, I guess, listen to her read, which whatever. During this, either the first or second interaction, she gets so mad at me and this guy for making because she's watching Family Guy and they're making a joke about whacking off, and we made some jokes about it as well. And then she was like, "My son won't do that," like defiantly saying that her kid would never do something. Which everybody does this to something. But anyways, she gets so mad that she leaves the VC, like the group call, right? And then she manually removes both me and this guy from the call because she's the main mod, admin, whatever. And then she sends me a DM talking about, I never want to speak to you again. I'm like, damn, I must have really done something egregious, something sinister and deadly and very disgusting, right? 2 days later, I join a VC with her, and she says, "Oh, how are you doing? Hey, what's up?" I was like, do you not remember that you just told me that you were done with me and never want to speak to me again? Oh, what are you talking about?" So this server is like the equivalent of a sitcom with no continuity, where every episode she gets mad over something and then kicks everybody out of the VC, and then the next day acts like it didn't even happen or forgets that it happened. That server is the equivalent of one of those like Looney Tunes. Like it's a continuous thing with no continuity where you can just start over with each episode. Because let me tell you something. Earlier this week, it was Monday or Tuesday. Go this now. There was a guy, and he was playing a game. Yes, retcon. There was a guy who was playing a game with her, and because of the way he played, she told him and some other person to go to hell. And I was like, wow, you get that angry over a video game? So about 2 days ago, and like I said, I don't approach chicks or ask them out and whatever. But this chick's not bad looking. So I said to her, hey, I had a dream about you a few days ago where I asked you on a date and you said no. And you smiled. And she was like, well, I'm already taken by this person. And then I was thinking to myself, wait a second. So the same person who you're claiming to be your boyfriend, not even 3 days ago, you told to go to hell because he didn't play the way you wanted in the video game. Oh, my favorite thing is when I was making the joke about how because I said my response to her, she didn't say she had a boyfriend at any point, even though she claimed she told me about this. It didn't happen. She thinks I'm somebody else. My favorite part was when after she said that, I was like, oh, even if you didn't have one, you still would say no. And I know this because I went to an alternate universe where you didn't have a boyfriend and I asked you out and you still said no. And then she was like, that wasn't me. I was like, yeah, that wasn't you. That was an alternate you. That was a variant. You know how Marvel has the variant, the alternate timeline version? I was like, yeah, I agree. That wasn't you. That was a variant. She sounds like a mentally. She is. I swear, I still have the DM where she says, I don't want to speak to you anymore. And then 2 days later, she's telling me her sob story about some guy that was trying to blackmail her with pictures that, like, risque pictures that he had of her, which, like I said, I don't usually defend chicks on stuff, but I'm not a fan of revenge porn at all. Like, I think it's very disgusting for someone to send you, private images. I'm serious. I would never do something like this. That's the one. Remember, I don't put up chicks' pictures at all. So that's the one line I would never cross. Trying to get revenge on somebody by putting up, compromising images of them on the. I don't do that. So for that, she had my sympathy, but everything else, it's a complete train wreck. Every day, she finds something different to be mad over, and then jumps out the VC and kicks everybody else out of it. Then the next day is in a good mood until somebody else does something. Now, there's clearly something wrong with her, like mentally. Like, I was playing the audio I had of her to my friend, after he was done saying this crazy stuff, and my brother, and they both said there's no way that woman is 28, but she is.
I thought she was 8.
Yeah, because she has one of those like slow drolls, like,
well, I didn't say that.
and you just when you hear her, you're like, that there's no way this is a grown adult woman, but it was. She possesses multiple personalities, sounds bipolar as well. She must have like short-term memory loss. Every day yelling at people and telling them that they suck. And then within the exact same week, it's a complete 360 turn. If she had a bad day, everyone has to have a bad day. Oh, she's also a lot of people that are I guess mentally challenged are actually somewhat nice. Like they're not douchebags. She's very rude because when I was talking to her about 2 or 3 days ago, she was like, because I asked, "Are you all right?" or what happened, something like that, and she's like, "Well, no S word, Sherlock." I'm like, how was I supposed to know what was happening to you in a setting where I can't see it because you don't have a camera that's turned on. So how would I even know? But you see how that's the only thing that makes me not sympathetic, because she's very rude. So that server's been real fun to stay in. I've been having a decent time with it because of how ridiculous. Like, everybody in there knows that there's something wrong with her. I don't know if it's multiple personalities. It's definitely different viewpoints for every different day. I'm on the spectrum. Yes, I was. Well, look, I don't belittle people with mental illness. I only get pissed off when people who try to use mental illness as an excuse to get away with being jerks, or to try and say you have one if you do something they don't like. But that's why I was saying that, like, I don't know, in my experiences with people that have some kind of I guess mental state missing, or just like some kind of mental impairment, they don't act like this. Like, they don't just call you out of your name and get upset, and every other day they're angry or they're happy. Just so I'm only having an enjoyable time in there because of just how it really does feel like a sitcom where there's no continuity between episodes. It's like, oh, they broke up at the end of the last one. Oh, now they're friends again. When did this happen? Well, I haven't spoken disparagingly about people that have mental illnesses. I just get kind of irritated because I said before that one of the things that people online like do is, if you're not with a woman, they try to say there's something wrong with you. So they're like, you talk slow, like you have a mental disorder. That's what they said in my video. I'm like, no, I'm trying to collect my thoughts and speak about this without stuttering. Because I don't have a script. you know, excuse me for not having the damn teleprompter while I'm talking on a video or a stream. Like, just that's why I said like the over analysis. I've dealt with some women like that. It's like tiptoeing on glass. You have to ridiculously mindful of their bad moods. So I'll end up leaving them alone. But even that can annoy them. Yeah. You realize that you can't be held prisoner to their emotions, and you'd be better off just sitting down and watching Morbius at your local movie theater. I don't know about that last part, but I agree with the first part of that sentence. Yeah, this guy's in my stream. He's trying to promote that movie.
You better not.
Oh, HBO Max dropped something very interesting on Wednesday. I knew it was coming, but I was very kind of just not really excited. So I said before that I wasn't excited for the Batman because to me it was just another Batman reboot. And apparently the box office is neither, because the 7 million that it made, while impressive, 700 million, is still nowhere near the 1.6 billion that No Way Home did. No Way Home whooped this movie's behind like there was no tomorrow. But anyways, I finally saw it this week, and I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was the best Batman movie ever, or one of the greatest comic book films of all. No, but it was okay. It was all right. It's a little too long, in my opinion. When you get to the last, like the length is decent, but when you get to that last 30 minutes, it feels like an eternity because they capture the main antagonist, and you're like, okay, well now the film's gonna end. It's like, no, there's some DLC. Um, the standout performance for me was Paul Dano as Riddler. I thought he did a really good job. He plays this psychotic. They were saying, Matt Reeves, that this is like based off the Zodiac Killer, and his design is kind of like that. My brother saw a picture of him. He was like, "What is this?" Um, but I think he was the best part of it, as far as just performance wise. And nobody else was really that bad or anything. It was just he stood. I was like, man, I hope he's in the next one. That was good. Because he's very different from the Jim Carrey take of the character from Forever. They're it's the same character, but it's also, yeah, you're fine. It's also very different. Where you going?
I'm going to the other room since Mom keeps calling me.
Oh, all right. Close the door. But yeah, that was my review. I thought it was all right, but it wasn't as amazing and great and life changing as people were saying it was. It wasn't this masterpiece of cinema. It was okay. It wasn't. I don't want to say I give it I'd say probably a 7 out of 10. Mm. I remember so many people were like, "You need to go see this in theater, get the real experience." Like, look, I'll just watch it on my couch. If it's all the same to you, I'll just check it out at over here while when it's on TV and I can play it and I don't have to sit there for 3 hours with a bunch of smelly people. I'm good. Like I said, I think it was all right. I think it was a decent movie. I can't play those games. I just ignore them. This is one of the best comic book films ever. It's like, well, I like it, but certainly not to extent. The way I knew people were riding on the hype train was when they said that Zoe Kravitz was the best Catwoman. I was like, I'm sorry, listen, we can have debates on the best Batman until tomorrow. Best Catwoman is Michelle Pfeiffer in Returns. It's not even close. Ever since then, nobody else has even come anywhere near that performance. That's when I knew that I was not going to like this as much as other people do. But the second I started hearing that trash, that slander, those lies, it's like, nope. I don't know who you're trying to trick, but it won't be me. That was really crazy. It's like, you guys actually believe this? Really? I didn't really even think much of her in this. I was like, all right, well, she's all right. It's just, she's looking for her friend, worried about that, and I guess that's kind of compelling. I don't know. The problem is that with a lot of the Batman films that have Catwoman in them that aren't returns, they don't really give her enough to do or anything that I would find that interesting. So for example, when you look at Dark Knight Rises, she's literally only there because Nolan killed off the love interest in the second movie. Um, and she has a lot of her screen time taken by that weird, Talia twist. So, it just seems like it's never really a fault of the actors, but more so the material. My ex was like that. She was always upset and didn't appreciate anything I did. She crossed the line though when she got mad at me and called me a mama's boy for agreeing to babysit my little sister. You shouldn't have agreed to babysit your little sister. You should have agreed to be with her and to stay by her side and to never be objecting to anything she does because when you're a man, you have to be a woman's slave and you can never have your own life and you can never have things that you have to do and obligations and responsibilities outside of. I told you, chicks think we're their slaves. I'm surprised they haven't tried to repeal the Emancipation Proclamation yet. They would have me picking some cotton if they got their way. No, there are a lot of chicks that really think the man is supposed to just do whatever they want at all. And I told you, every time you talk to one of these broads, you have to compromise. Oh, she's busy. Oh, you have to accept it. Oh, she can't call you this week. Have to accept it. But if you have some that comes up, expect them to be pissed. Expect them to be inconsiderate. It's always that way. You accept them over and over, compromise like crazy, and they treat you like trash and expect you to bend over head and foot for them. Like I said, who wants to put up with that? Who is really sitting there is like excited that they have to just keep going in that same repetitive cycle with it? Because like I said, there's a lot of chicks, but the problem is a lot of them do the exact same stuff. So even if you move on from one, you're still stuck in that same prison. I'm just so tired of them, man. Like every day, people come online and they talk about, oh, if you want to get with a woman, you have to have confidence. No, you have to have no life outside of them and do everything to bend over head and foot for them. And I'm not interested in that. Here's another thing. Obviously, men are not perfect and have their massive flaws too, but I know some broads would use what's in between their legs as a punishment if you don't do what they say. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole situation with the dingbat with the baby. It's like she got this guy to pay for this crap that wasn't even his fault because she would reward him, reward loosely, I mean, with intercourse. And was pretty much able to get him to do whatever she wants just with screwing him because he doesn't have any other options. I just think it's really funny because I'm very serious when I say this. If some woman was trying to tell me that that she was going to withhold intercourse if I didn't do something I really didn't want to or didn't like or thought was screwed up, I would just go pay a hooker. I'm not even being funny. I would just go to Vegas. Like it's so humorous to me that chicks act like what's in between their legs is this exclusive thing we've never seen before. We can't get access to by other means. Because you know that if you said, I'm going to withhold my banana, everybody would laugh at you. Let's say what? Everybody would giggle. They'd be like, he thinks that he's the only man in the world, really. It's this exclusive thing, and you're held prisoner to it like a carrot being dangled right in front of you. Yep, women love to weaponize sex against men. Sitcoms poke fun at this all the time, but the man is usually the butt of the joke. Well, yeah, because the man does to a woman, people, they laugh at him. It's a joke. That's why I said relationships to me, they just don't seem like they can work as stuff with me is concerned, because too much of it is slanted in the favor of the chick. Told you I can't, like, there are so many broads I speak to just in a platonic manner, and every time you talk to them, it's because you reached out to them. And if you want them to speak to you, you have to message them like 3 or 4 times over the course of a month or a couple of months. And it's like, why is it so hard to just act like you give half a damn? Like, Jesus. That's why I said talking to chicks it just seems like a big waste of time. Like, there's nothing enjoyable that comes out of it. They just sit there and keep screwing with you, and you're not supposed to get upset over, having your time wasted. Relationships just aren't for me. I'll be fine living a life of seclusion. I'm just saying I don't think they can work because they're just implicitly not fair anymore. And maybe they've never been fair, but they're even more unfair than they were before, to such a ridiculous extent that if you're a man who's not famous, you have no chicks ever asking you out, never trying to start anything with you. But if you're a woman that's not famous, you go on one of these stupid websites, you have 10, 20, 30 guys trying to talk to you when you put up some stupid picture. Doesn't make any sense to me. But again, like, they see that happening, and then they expect you to feel motivated to still talk to chicks who have never ending options, loads and load of, and like I said, all those stupid dating accounts on this very website never mention external factors when they're trying to blame you. Get in shape, go to the gym. They never mention any of these external factors, like all these different men they're talking to one woman. They'll never bring it up because it's antithetical to their message, which is it's always your fault. You're the one who always screwed it up. You did something wrong. You're the reason this occurred. You're the problem. It's never something the woman did at any point. And you know damn well, if you were talking to 10, 15, 30 chicks, people would say, what's wrong with you? Why do you need to speak to all these people that you're not even serious with? Even though, like I said, if I end up speaking to that many chicks, it's because you get rejected by so damn many of them. You're trying to play the numbers game. I remember it was like it was back in, I think, what was that, 2015, 16. Like right at the tail end of approaching. Like, I remember I would go on Reddit every day. Oh, look, this chick put up an R for R. Let me message her, and then you speak to her for like a couple of days or a few weeks, right? And then she stops responding, and then at the same time you're going on there. It really was just like a thing. Just every day go on there, see some chick that's putting up a help wanted sign, you DM her or whatever, and then it goes nowhere, and then you're back to the drawing board. Notice how they also never teach you how to look out for and avoid toxic, abusive women. Yeah, because they have idealized views of chicks. So people will say men are abusers and they molest chicks, which there are some that do, but then no one ever tells you about gold diggers and chicks that are only speaking to you because they want attention and don't actually reciprocate your interest. Because a lot of these chicks are like, what's that Superman villain, the purple one, Parasite, where like Parasite grabs Superman and tries to absorb his energy. um that's what these chicks are. When they're talking to you, they're trying to absorb your attention so they can feel better about themselves before they pump and dump you. It's not even pointing out how men have flaws and are problematic that annoys me. Of course, some men are bad, but they sometimes act like some women being bad as a result of men. No, some women are just bad as well. Humans are bad. Again, when you live in a society that bends over backwards for chicks, it's not going to present too many critiques of their behavior. You're gonna see a lot of bending over and attempts to placate them. So it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Because again, if this stuff isn't happening to the preferred gender of chicks, then nobody cares. If they don't have to go out and have no options and jump through all these hoops just to go on a date, no one's going to complain or say this is screwed up because it doesn't affect them. Yeah, it's really sad. Because like you said, it's all your fault. You could literally be physically assaulted and they blame you anyway. Yeah. Told you, so people like they were talking about the gender war. It's mostly men that write nasty stuff about other men. And you do have some stupid chicks too, like the two that have tried to debate me over the romance stuff, and their arguments were just god awful. But that's why I said it's not men versus women, it's lies versus people. Because they purposefully do not mention things that are out of your control, because to do so would be to give you the benefit of the doubt and acknowledge the fact that you can't make someone like you, which they never will. Um, you know, that comes from the notion that abuse is a cycle, and they're right, it is a cycle, but if you want to end that cycle, you must take personal responsibility. Oh, you only have to take responsibility if you're a man. If you're a woman, you get to coast off of your tragic backstory and your dad was mean to you and all the rest of that stuff. Your mother wouldn't pee around you when you were at the house because you weren't worth the piss. Just they always find a way to make chicks just they really do turn chicks into what you call it, like Naruto villains. Like they all have these tragic backstories, and as you're dealing with them, you have to learn about it so you can now feel sympathetic toward what's happened to them. I'm just so tired of it. Like, okay, I don't care. Just stop acting like this. It's just like when that broad tried to tell me that to get over it with the chicks, like, oh, get over it and keep. It's like, yeah, you can feel whatever way you want about it. I'm not going to sit here and try to explain it to somebody that doesn't care. Remember, I told you it's really funny that we're supposed to be sympathetic toward chicks, but then they're never sympathetic toward you. So I got to listen to her talk about all the men that ever approached her just want intercourse, which apparently she likes because she still had a boyfriend up until a few days ago. But then if you want to mention how every time you go up to these chicks, they say no, oh, just get over it. So I say, go, just go to hell. Like I'm tired of that. Again, the hypocrisy is astounding. Yes, they are of very high importance. These random chicks nobody ever heard of. These random broads are so magical and so mesmerizing and tantalizing and significant. I mean, like who? What human being? What individual of flesh and bones looks at this and says this is fair? This is a decent society. This makes sense. There's nothing to complain about. Who looks at this and says that this is appealing? I'd love to know. Like nobody thinks there's something wrong with whatever. I'm not even gonna repeat myself. This woman saga thing is the most cancerous part of modern society by far. People taking random chicks and treating them like they're gods among men is so pathetic. Like I said, if it was Scarlett Johansson that had 30 guys in her DMs trying to talk to her, Makes total sense. Zoe Saldana having 20 guys send her a message makes total sense. But random Becky that lives across the street, she posts a picture of her backside, and all these guys are going, no, not at all. It isn't appealing in the slightest. Remember, even some chicks know there is something wrong with other chicks. Yeah. Like I said, it's not men versus women, it's lies versus people. All the people that come on this website talking about you can get a girlfriend if you just do this, and you have to ask yourself what would someone want from being in a relationship with you. All that crap is just so useless and worthless and stupid. It's like, I don't come on here and try to offer advice that, first of all, doesn't work. Secondly, it's just giving you a fuck, because you can't appeal to someone whose ego is so damn big that she thinks she's better than you. Like, imagine how much of a prick I'd look like if I said, I have 2,000 subscribers. This woman only has 100. So she cannot speak to me or go on a date. You'd say, what the hell's wrong with you? But there are a lot of chicks that they don't even have a material statistical thing they can point to and say, I've done this better than you. And they believe they're better than you. Which is why they don't think you could ever even be worth going on a date with them, because they're just so out of your league that they just transcend the world, the planet. Dude, that out of your league thing, I still think it's so funny. Like, according to people online, every woman is just out of your league. They're all so amazingly beautiful and so intelligent and all this other crap. That's what I say. It's just so stupid. Like, you're literally being made to play this game that that goes no. Yeah, they're not even like. I'm serious. If I do more romance videos, I'm gonna just stop calling them women, just refer them as gods among men. No flaws at all. They're all so damn work on yourself, work on yourself, work on yourself, work on yourself. What does the woman have to do? She has vagina, so she is perfect. Hey, remember the song? I'm gonna defend women like I'm blind, because being obsessed with sticking up for them has destroyed my mind. Dude, people defending chicks has destroyed their minds. That woman from what was that, a week or 2 weeks ago? The things she was saying made no sense. I swear to you, I didn't go to debate class. I've never taken a debate course. I've never like just sat in the mirror just like practicing, what would I say if this person says this? But I was able to destroy every single one of her arguments because they're crappy. And all she had to do was just acknowledge the fact that you can't make someone like you, that there's nothing appealing about being asked to go out and ask out a bunch of chicks who are not interested in you, first of all, for the most part anyway. And you know that because they would approach someone that they really thought they had to be with. And then being expected to do that forever until you die. At which point you're going to be blamed anyway, because the number one thing these people like to do is always skip the part where they blame the woman and put it all on you. You take the fall for their BS. She couldn't acknowledge any point I made. Like, if you bring something up, she always just skips to something else. Oh, there was a woman that I asked to marry me and she said yes, and then she reneged a few days later. Point being made here is it's really screwed up to get somebody excited for something like that just to rip it away from them, right? And instead of addressing that, she goes, how old were you? Oh, that's too young. Oh, you could afford all this different. Dude, she made getting married sound like it was the most like you might as well be buying a damn country from how expensive she made sounding getting married to. It's like, I can literally prove in my state you can get married for $80 at a courthouse, and she's gonna sit here and pretend that you have to spend like that. Like, just complete idiot, man. Just so stupid. Like no brain cells to run. Like if you told the fact that that's a person in college, like in supposedly one of the higher education systems of the US, that is an educated fool if I ever saw one. They're not tricking anybody. Oh, well, if you improve for women, they'll improve for you. According to what? How can you improve for someone you've never even met? Who's telling them to improve? Certainly nobody online. Like, I swear to you, people are so obsessed with these bastards. They will find any reason to legitimize their current BS. Regardless of how little sense it makes, regardless of how stupid it is, it doesn't matter. They will look for any way to take the dumbest, most insane, most unappealing scenarios, right? You going out and talking to chicks that don't like you year after year, getting the same result, but just keep trying and make it sound like this is appealing. And like I said, the main cheerleaders for this I don't want to call it a lifestyle, but this thing they want you to do forever, right? Of asking out chicks every year and getting foreseeably the same results are the same people who never had to experience it themselves. Lady Lacking Logic is such a worthless bimbo that she'll tell you to go and talk to chicks that don't like you for the next 10 years. Remember, you can't complain until you've been rejected for 5, 10, or 15 years, while also admitting that she had men asking her to get married before she was 21. She has no idea what that was like. And I'm telling you, even a lot of the guys that come on here and peddle that like advice stuff, they don't even approach anyone themselves. You know how you know that? Because not a single one of them has ever shown that they have a girlfriend. Ever. Years and years of this and being a keyboard warrior, and not a single one of these guys has ever proven they're with a woman. Not once. But we should just take their word, even though they won't take your word. Because remember, the problem is you're too ugly to get with the woman. You probably approached someone that was out of your league. You probably approached someone in a weird way. They never give you the benefit of the doubt, but you're supposed to believe that they're all so successful and drowning in chicks. It's just it's so stupid. Self-improvement is a farce. It's just a phrase that people use to attack you for some perceived failing of your character, right? But they can never find the failing of the character in the woman. Isn't that so convenient? They can always find these flaws and these errors and these issues in people they've never met before, right? People that they've only seen in the video, or maybe they've been on one stream or two streams, but they can never find faults or flaws or errors in these women. Isn't that kind of interesting? Like it's just coincidentally always your fault. And remember, they're supposed to be part of what incentivizes you to keep playing this rigged, screwed up game. Bunch of lip service and nothing to back up their claims. But they expect you to believe them when they tell you their same nonsense all the time. Yeah. You get a woman, just work on yourself. Tell you, that chick stuff is just... People really allowed being obsessed with the... Like I said, if I made a video about Megumi's mother and he came on my stream talking about you're a jerk, and I'd be offended, but I also would understand it. To defend random chicks that they've never met before, they don't know who this broad is, they will sit there and make... I mean, how many paragraphs been written in my comment section? How many character analysis? Yeah, the fatal flaw. I've never met you, but I know the thing that's stopping you from getting the romance because I watched your video. But remember, that goes back to this thing where people online like to pretend to themselves that because they watched you in a video, or maybe they spoke to you on a couple of your streams, know everything about you. You know, so that's why when I brought up in the video, my mother could have cancer, and that could be the reason why I want to have a date in the next 2 years, you know, because she might not be around to see it after that. But again, they'll never think of something like that because doing that would force them to give me the benefit of the doubt and acknowledge that there are external factors out of my control that make me act in a certain way or that I am influenced by. Or that my motives, again, are maybe more complex than just what you see in the video. They would, like, I'm serious, not a single person in my comment section that's doing that "you're too young" crap ever considered that. And that includes that chick from last week and the other one, the infamous one. The work on yourself mantra is a snide presumption that merely wanting companionship with someone is character failing. Like I said, man, when chicks are by themselves and single, everybody says they're independent. You know, they're focusing on their priorities. Nobody ever tries to tell them that they need to change who they are or become a quote unquote better person so that some random individual who, for all we know, sucks themselves can like them. Nobody else thinks that's nuts. So that woman stuff is just so pathetic. Like the fact that people defend them the way they do, the fact that chicks act the way they do. It's like who looks at that and is like, as a man, is like, yeah, I can't wait to go do that. Nobody thinks that's sad. Like, and remember, it's like all you're asking for is a date. And ugh. No, I'm done with this. I think the only thing regarding work on yourself is that women usually operate on dating apps and across. So being a better version of yourself increases your chances. I mean, I could say that kidnapping chicks and forcing them to stay at my house while I molest them increases my chances of having intercourse. It still isn't right. Why the hell do you have to change who you are so that someone might go on a date with you? What is so special about this person you've never met before that you have to transform into somebody else for? Especially when that transformation does not cause a foolproof knowledge that they're going to reciprocate. Imagine how pissed off you would be, or anyone would be. You go to the gym for 6 months and get muscles. You go up to a woman, you say, "Hey, I like you." She says, "Oh, I have a boyfriend," or "Oh, I'm not interested." It's like, well, then you just went to the gym for 6 months for nothing. Oh, but there's other women too. It's like, but that's the point. You're still getting rejected after doing this extraneous crap that you only did so that random chicks would supposedly be more interested in you, even though you're getting the exact same damn results. No, it's not can be so flimsy. It is flimsy. If we live in a world where someone can agree to marry a person and then a few days later say, "Oh no, never mind." Like there's not an if, it is. It's if romantic relationships and reciprocation from chicks is excessive, is extremely flimsy for no reason. Which is why I said there's something wrong with those bastards. You think it takes me a month to figure out if I'm going to go on a date with somebody? No, it's not no damn human nature. I've never seen a guy who's like, "Oh, there was this woman I met and it took her like 5 months to get me to want to go on a date with her." No, you know how guys are. They see a chick, think it's hot, they'll go on a date with her. Like I don't believe men are anywhere near as flimsy as chicks are on romantic relationships and liking them. Because if we were, you wouldn't see chicks that have 30 men trying to talk to them at once. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't buy it. I don't believe in it. Too many damn men go after one bra for me to believe. Oh yeah, guys are also no. I've like when I was looking at the stuff these people were saying, you should stop wearing this necklace. I've never seen a single man say, "Oh my god, this woman's so hot. She got these big titties." But sorry, I'm not dating her because she got that necklace, man. I've never seen that. I'm not going to date her because I don't like her shirt. I don't like that she's not 6 feet. Oh my God. I don't see this. But again, there goes that false equivalency. This dude is ironically making that's just how it is argument. Humans can't evolve and we're slaves to our biology. Yeah. Well, like I said, if that's just how it is, what stops men from acting this way? Like, there are no big groups of chicks complaining about getting a date or never having gotten one. Why is that? If that's just how it is. Well, I'm more so making the argument that attraction works on different levels. Being a better version of yourself would increase your chances, or am I lost on this one? But listen, to what extent is the increase? You know, like if you have to work 8 jobs just to maybe have, I don't know, McDonald's look at your application. Sure, it increased those 8 jobs and the experience from there increased your chance of getting hired, but was it worth it? If things are just how they are, and you can't guarantee to me that doing these specific, because everybody has a different idea of work on yourself. Some people say go to the gym, some people say be more calm. You know, it's all over the place. But if doing these things don't guarantee you romantic reciprocation from at least multiple members of the opposite sex, then why bother? And that was my point. Why do you have to do extraneous crap for people that don't have to do it back for you, and who still can say that they're not interested in you and, you know, walk away scot-free? Is it worth it? Just like if I had to make every video I did, I was like, okay, you can promise me that I can get 10 more views at least if I make an edited video. It's like, so I'm going to sit here for an extra 3 hours to get so on the premise that I'll get more views. If we just agree and accept that we'll get more views no matter what, right? Even if it's not as many as we would like, we'll just agree it's more views no matter what. Was it worth it to put extra hours to just get a few more views? I meant to say it increases your chances, but it's not 100. Right. So that's what I don't understand. Why do something that you don't want to do that still isn't foolproof for getting you the thing you want? You know, like a lot of people don't like to go to college. Right. And we've talked about the cost and whatnot, but at the very, I'm not even gonna make the comparison because then we're gonna get into some other topic. But I'm just saying that I don't understand the point of doing something that doesn't guarantee you what you want and is still dictated by random finicky chicks. Because contrary to popular belief, there are chicks that date men who are not in shape, whatever that means, right? There are chicks that date men who are not rich. I've seen plenty of homeless couples. So, like, I don't understand why you live in a world where you know that chicks have dated these different versatile men, and then for some reason you have to be pigeonholed into being this specific type of perfect guy, and it still doesn't guarantee you anything. So I don't understand what is the purpose of doing this? To give yourself a better chance, but if the chance is still not enough to guarantee that this will happen, you know, to me it just seems like a big waste of time. If you don't like lifting weights, don't think it would increase your chances, you shouldn't do it, but no counter that it may that but to counter that, if I may, being healthy and fit is more attractive. Let me explain something to you. And I'm just speaking on my perspective. There is not a single woman on this planet that I have been uninterested in because she doesn't go to the gym. Whether a woman exercises or not has never mattered to me. The only thing I don't like are chicks that are excessively overweight, 300 pounds, 200 pounds. You know, I've never found that appealing. But I have never once sat back and been like, well, I think this woman, you know, has a nice face, but I am bothered by the fact that she does not lift weights. Again, a lot of this also has to do with consistency. Why do I, as a person who's not bothered with being with someone who doesn't exercise, have to exercise? I don't get it. I'd love for someone to explain it to me. Why do I have to accept chicks for the way they are, as far as at least, certainly at least physically, right? You don't have to go and transform just to go on a date with me, but then I have to undergo this physical regiment for them. Like, what? This above this also contrasts to how people would sometimes recommend traveling to another country in the hopes of meeting someone, which still doesn't make any sense to me. So you're going to go to this other country, and then this woman's going to fall in love with you in a few days, I guess, and come back with you to yours. How does this work? Yeah, I think a lot of people wouldn't mind if their partner isn't a gym rat, but obviously some people have different tastes. Sure, but I'm not talking about some people. I'm specifically referring to the fact that I am not bothered by not being with someone who doesn't exercise. Again, there are certain limits to how big I am interested in with regard to how fit a partner is, but I have never pursued someone or been interested in them because they go to the gym. So I'm just asking why the same courtesy can't be applied, in my case as well. Why we can't see something consistent there. Why I have to go to the gym to appeal to a random woman I've never met before, but then I'm fine with women not going to the gym to appeal to me. Like it doesn't, it's not a factor for me. But so why does that be a factor for them? I'm just trying to be consistent. Just like I wouldn't be bothered if a woman I was interested in didn't have a degree because I don't have one, or if she didn't have a car. It's like that stuff doesn't bother me. And if it bothers chicks, then that just shows they're a lot more materialistic than I am. Yeah, you're never given the same courtesy. Remember, you preach acceptance while being met with intolerance. You are told over and over again that you need to do this, X, Y, and Z, just for the random chick, right? And you're supposed to do all this stuff to appeal to them, but then they can be whatever they want, and you're supposed to accept it. I think you're looking at this too black and white. I'm merely saying being healthy. Well, I mean, hell, how do you know I'm not healthy? How do any of these guys know I'm not healthy? Like, are they my damn physician? Have they looked at my medical records when I wasn't around? Like, what? Like, there are people who are healthy that don't exercise, right? They just don't eat bad crap. And people on here will call somebody not fit if they don't have, just because they don't have muscles. You don't think that's crazy? Like, how do random people online know if I'm healthy or not? Like, that's weird. And again, this is the problem with all of this unwanted advice that these people give. It doesn't address anything I'm saying, and it's irrelevant because I don't sit here talking about, well, there was this woman I liked, but I didn't like the way her stomach looked. I don't sit here talking about the way chicks look at all. But that's the problem with people online. They're nothing but presumptuous. You probably approach in a weird way. The women you approach are probably too good looking. They're out of your league, even though I've never seen what a single one of them looks like because you never put their picture up. You're probably gay. You're probably making chicks afraid you're going to molest them. All of this stuff has been written in my comment section. So all people who defend chicks do is just make presumptions. Remember that stupid broad that came to my stream was talking about don't hate all women. Nobody said anything about hating all women. So I said they just create stuff. So it's like, what's the point of even having the dialogue if you're just going to assign motives to me and I actually listen or address anything I'm saying? Yeah, all this stuff has been written here. So I don't even know what the point of having a conversation about this is. If all we're going to do is just play the speculation game, you're probably not healthy. You probably don't exercise. What the hell does any of this have to do with my point about how hard it is to get a date? It's like that's all they do. They just sit there and just create fan fiction. I've been looking at this from a pretty nuanced perspective. You're the one engaging in presumptuous dichotomies. I'm just saying it does seem like having some muscles and tone can be deemed more attractive. It's not a ridiculous point to make. What I think is ridiculous, I'm not saying you're making this point, but I just think in general, I think it's ridiculous to appeal to an unrealistic fantasy because most people don't have muscles. That's a fact. And also, I don't ask other people to have them if chicks anyway, if I'm interested in them romantically. So why do I have to have them to receive the same level of interest? So I just think for me to go out and pursue that, I would have to be acknowledging that I don't care about being consistent, and giving into to an unrealistic fantasy. Is it like when people say, "Well, you should try to be more rich"? Most people are not wealthy. And listen, again, here we go back to unrealistic fantasy. There are very few people that are both rich and physically fit because most people that have money, you can look this up, you don't believe me, tend to be older, which means they don't have muscles. So even if you can fit in the one box of unrealistic fantasies that these people have, you can't fit in all of them. And that's why I said it just seems like there's no point or purpose to doing this stuff if all people can do is just keep finding ways to blame you for it. What if you go out and get muscles and you get rejected and you come on and people say, well, you didn't get a woman to like you because you're ugly, which they've said to me before. So what do I get facial reconstruction surgery? I mean, when does it stop? When do people have the character arc and say, yeah, there's just something wrong with chicks? They want too damn much and nobody can appeal to them, which is why you have whole groups of men that get rejected by them. When does that anvil ever get dropped? When is that lesson ever learned? I studied a bit of behavioral psychology and the biological aspect of attractiveness from genetic markers. Obviously, it's not simple as just having muscles. So I understand what you're saying. Dude, I'm telling you, no man in my family ever had to have muscles to go on a date. Like just to get a date. Remember my saying, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. The problem isn't you pointing that out. The problem is you essentializing physical traits and equating it to self-worth. Oh yeah, you have people who are like, you don't go to the gym because you're not confident in your body. Like, no, I don't want to. Why do you have to do that just to go on a date? Like I said, if I came on here and said, if you want to go on a date with me, you need to have muscles and you need to go to the gym for 6 months, I'd get laughed at. Because no one sits here and tries to pretend that men's bizarre fantasies are legitimate. No one would come on here and try to say that made any type of sense. Even if I had muscles myself, me coming on here and demanding that chicks I date be in shape, I would get mocked. People would say I was superficial. They would say I cared about things that don't determine how good a person is, et cetera, et cetera. But when you'd like the same courtesy, you can't receive it. It's too much. No, they love using chicks to play the self-worth stuff. You don't. Many people didn't. Why should you? If it's something you enjoy, yeah, cool. But it's to just try to get a date, really. Dude, they want you to do everything to get a date. Remember that one guy that was like, build a model kit? Like, I'm going to build this kit. I'm going to make music. I'll become this big rock star just to go on a date with somebody. That's why I said, man, the juice is not worth the squeeze with these chicks. They're just a thing people use to try and make you do ridiculous stuff and give a motive behind it. Like, you're going to jump off a bridge and land on your feet. Why? Oh, because this woman thinks that's really hot, being daring and challenging. You're going to jump out of a plane without a parachute and land in the bushes. Why? Oh, because this woman thinks it's really hot to see a guy fall into his almost certain demise in surviving. I'm telling you, they use chicks to make you to try and get you to do any crazy, ridiculous, harebrained scheme they can think of. And it's really sad. The best women can be is this tool used to try and get you to engage in insane behavior. You know, it's just really pathetic. If you don't believe that, then your argument about being fit makes you making you more attractive is moot. But like I said, I just don't think it's worth it. Like, you have to be a millionaire just to go on a date with somebody that doesn't even have a house, that lives in a box. Are you kidding me? That's what happens when you're not consistent. You do all this stuff to appeal to one side, and they do nothing to appeal to you. That was real funny. That chick was like, "Oh, I like speaking to you, except for that one topic." I'm like, "Yeah, because you tried to insert yourself into that, and I defended myself. Told you I'm not ashamed of my positions." I think this is one of these cases where perhaps I'm not being understood. It's just really sad that people act like this. Like, the stuff they type on here is so nasty and for no reason. Some people have extremely high standards. Well, like I said, if chicks didn't have standards that were way higher than men's, you would see chicks having groups where they talk about getting rejected year after year, where they talk about talking to some guy for weeks or months who just for him to say, "Oh, I only like you as a friend." But you don't see that. That's because men's standards are nowhere near as high as chicks. People don't want to accept that because they want to sit here and fetishize chicks as these like amazing, great, accepting people, but they're not. A few are, but not nearly enough for the train wreck we have now. You'd be better talking to a brick wall than talking to any of these modern broads because you're not getting anything out of it. Oh no, I understand you. It's not moot because it's not true. Obviously, people have preferences. Sure, but if you have to do these extraneous things to appeal to those preferences, where does the line get drawn? And again, do you go out of your way to appeal to an unfavorable to you anyway system that will punish you regardless of what you actually did to appeal to this person? Because she says no, all that training goes out the window, and you have to just hope the next person will think it's good enough for them. That's why I don't like talking to modern chicks because they just drag everything out. Like, I feel like I'm watching an anime arc with a bunch of filler every time I try to talk to one of them. It's like, can't just say I don't want to go on a date with you because then the arc will be over in one episode. No, we have to have this preamble where you pretend that you're getting to know me and you like speaking to me and blah 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 blah. Right? But I'm telling you, it's like it always ends the same way. They either abruptly stop responding. Right? It's happened repeatedly. It looks like it's happening with another one this week. Or they say they're not interested. It's like, what is the purpose of this? What do you think happens in the future then? Do women's standards lower or men's standards increase? Oh no, men's standards aren't going to increase because they'll do whatever they'll go for whatever has a triangle on it. I really don't know. It feels like there's no solving this because chicks are just going to keep on having like a bunch of guys throw themselves at them and make it impossible to even stand out at all. So I don't even know where this is going. You're probably going to see more of those shootings, right, where the guy like gets angry about the woman stuff and then acts violent. But again, as far as like actually solving it, I really have no idea because it just seems like it's going nowhere good anyway. I relate to the first one you said so much. It's happening right now, actually, and I'm just talking to her platonically. Yeah, You'll have some woman, she'll sit there and write all this crap to you, and then after a week or two, she starts responding less and less and less and less. Just descends all the way into the toilet. So I said that woman stuff is just hell on earth. It's the ultimate waste of time. It's the ultimate blame game. You know. So I said next time I do a romance video, I want to just have the main picture just be me hanging on the cross like this. Because you just can't win. You're always blamed for the stuff they do. Wearing my crown of thorns. That's all you do. Just get blamed for things out of your control. It's always your fault. At every turn. You didn't do this. You should have done that. You're probably shy. You're probably lacking confidence. You probably don't work on yourself. Just so annoying, man. Like so many character analysis. No, I really hate the one about you're too young. It's like you guys have no idea why I want something at a certain age. Hell, I could have terminal cancer and only have 2 years to live and want to go on a date before then. Like, you know, they don't know anything because they don't know you. They just see a video and they think that they have you all figured out because they watched a clip of you or they spoke to you a few times. Hey, remember the stupid broad? You're edging toward extremism. Yeah, just from leaving chicks alone, that's extreme. Think about this. When people go and they blow up a building, they shoot up a school, they rape somebody, those are all like extreme things. But what's also extreme is just leaving people alone, not bothering anyone, just going off and doing your own stuff that's productive. That's extreme to her. Because remember, according to these chicks, you're supposed to be their slave forever. You're in some kind of new modern indentured servitude to them where you just have to do all this stuff to appeal to them and hope that one of them will like you back. It's like you said, you're met with contempt and intolerance, but you must also accept them for who they are. Yeah, how fair is that? I can give you a hint, not very. Because she wants to see you suffer, most likely can't stand the thought you being content. Yeah. And like I said, if she's such a damn expert on romance, why the hell isn't she married? I'm single, but no, you're not. Because you wouldn't have been on stupid Tinder. That's why I said the people that sit here and play this thing about being so successful, don't believe them. Even a lot of these chicks, even though they get men throwing themselves at them over and over, they never find any of them appealing. And even the few ones they date, it still doesn't work out. So don't sit here and ever listen to their BS again. Because a lot of them, even if they're with someone, it still sucks. Everybody here gonna come on here and act like they're having these happy lives and living all great and amazing. No, you're not. You wouldn't be on Tinder if you were. How is it that I'm the one who supposedly is so despondent with my love life, but then you're the one that's got to go on this awful website talking to men that sexualize you and they don't even know you? So successful with your romances. That's why you have to go on a site, a dating website. That's totally what people who have a happy love life do. They go on a site like that. Yep. Definitely, right? I'm telling you, man, it's so sad that people are like this. It really is. Just the stuff they defend, the things they legitimize, you know? Oh, she didn't want me to suffer. Remember, that's why she said, I believe you would prematurely cut off a woman or whatever that garbage was. Because, you know, you're supposed to just talk to them forever. That's why I said a lot of these chicks, I think are I'm not even trying to be funny. I think a lot of them are sadists. Like, I think they really get off on just wasting men's time. Like these vampires just like sucking the life out of everyone that comes in contact with them. Because I don't see any purpose to speaking to someone who you don't find attractive week after week, month. Like, who does that? I'll tell you, do it. Time wasting, worthless, garbage chicks. Like I don't get why they get off on that, but they do. It's really sad. Yeah, it's been a really interesting week. We met a chick that has a sitcom like server where she gets mad at you for one day and then likes you the next day. Who's apparently dating a guy that 2 days before she announced she was dating him, she told to go to hell. Um, then we have my friend who wanted to say that it makes sense to not acknowledge people that do things you like, and showed how hypocritical he was when he can't name any actors that are in movies he likes, but then can name all the rappers and singers that make songs he doesn't listen to. And like I said, I told him to his face that was stupid. Doesn't make any sense. So I make something good. You damn sure you remember who they are, because you would want them to remember who you were if you made something good. Again, if you're being consistent, that is. So I had no problem talking to him the way I did. I felt very vindicated. I'm glad I finally put out the what if video. I'm probably going to do another, maybe not on another what if for a while, but some other edited thing, because there's like a backlog of them. I just like the idea that I laid out my plan of action if this ever occurred. Like I said, I'm not. People always say I'm negative, but I said before, if certain things were allowed to play out in a normal way, it could have worked. And it's so ironic we call it negative, but then you're like very positive about the fact that this stuff had gone a certain way, it all could have worked out. If just a few things changed or were tweaked a bit, it could have been nice. Remember, I'm negative. But the people that call my videos talking about you're too ugly to get a woman, they're not negative. It's funny how that works, huh? So I said, people on here, they don't even try to sound consistent. They just come online and just spew whatever garbage they want. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm hungry. I'm gonna get something to eat. I will stream again, obviously on Monday, maybe on Thursday as well. I don't know for sure. Thanks, Megumi, Akatsuki Merchant. Envoy was all right before he started promoting that horrible movie again. Like I'm really getting sick of that vampire. Every time I talk to my friend, he just came back from seeing it 3 times that day. And I'm like, I get that people love Jared Leto and he's transforming the planet, but that movie is really getting a lot of attention for no reason. So have a good rest of your Saturday.